This is the first time in human history, one of the scariest photos. Astronaut Bruce. Mick Canless's first 5-province spacewalk. He didn't speak for 3 days after coming back. The psychiatrist in Lhasa asked him what was wrong. He said one thing, and I saw the Earth breathing. Doctors thought he was crazy. But then, more and more astronauts are reporting the same symptoms. They say, when you stare at Earth from space for more than 30 seconds, you'll see it expand and contract, like a giant lung. This is not an illusion. It's because your brain doesn't understand it. An object with a diameter of 12,742 kilometers. It's clearly visible in your field of vision. Your cerebellum will automatically add breathing to him to make sense of this absurd image. And here's what's even scarier. When you watch for a long time, you will feel the Earth staring at you. Lhasa calls this the reverse overall effect. No, you're looking at the Earth. The Earth is watching you. 30% of the astronauts experienced this. They say it's scarier than seeing aliens. Because you suddenly realize you think you are an observer, but you're just this blue monster, a cell in the body. But that's just the surface horror of the overall effect. What really broke the astronauts was what happened next. It was December 24th, 1968. Apollo 8 astronaut William Anders, while flying around, took the photo that changed human history. The moment he raised his camera, his hands were shaking. It's not weightlessness, because he suddenly realized something. He is filming not a planet. It is the coffin of the entire human civilization. You know that feeling? It's like a game you've been playing for 20 years. Suddenly, one day you exit the game interface. I see the computer screen running this game. That moment, all tasks in the game, equipment level, it all becomes code, turned into nothingness. And what William Anders experienced while orbiting the moon. And that's the collapse. After he returned to Earth, it took three years. Dare to be in public. Talk about what you saw that day. And here's what's even weirder. Neuroscientists used it in 2014. Functional magnetic resonance imaging, scanning the brains of 17 astronauts, discovered an amazing secret. When these people recollect their space experiences, their brains' default mode, the network will experience abnormal synchronous discharges. It's the region that deals with self-awareness and spatial positioning. But in the astronaut's brain, the pattern of activity in this area, and those who have experienced death, the people who experience it are almost identical. In other words, Earth from space, essentially a small spiritual death. This is not a metaphor. It's real neurological change. Your brain has a structure called the pre-resting lobe. He is responsible for building your spatial reference system. Tell you, I'm here. The world is out there, but when you're 320 kilometers in the air, when you see the Earth hovering like a marble, the system will instantly stimulate. Because of your pre-resting lobe, evolved on the surface of the Earth, he simply doesn't have the ability to process this kind of information. When I crawled to the middle of the path, and I looked down, I feel very dark all around. I just wanted to see what was around me. What's under your feet? I just looked down inadvertently. Wow. Black. Bottomless black. The result is, your brain activates an emergency protection mechanism. He will force you to create a sense of integration. One astronaut described it very accurately. So he says, I don't feel like an individual anymore. I became a part of the Earth, or the Earth became a part of me. This feeling is not romantic poetry. It's a cognitive disorder. It's your brain trying to avoid a complete collapse. Extreme measures taken. But the real horror was still to come in 2007. A team of Japanese neuroscientists did an experiment. They asked 30 people to wear weird glasses. A simulated view of Earth from the International Space Station. Just 15 minutes later, 43% of people made a difference. Degree of self-blurring. Some people start to get confused between their hands and the table. Some people feel their consciousness spreading outward. 2 of them even broke down on the spot, claiming that he doesn't know who he is anymore. And this is just via simulation. Authentic space experience. 100 times more powerful. Because in space, your senses will receive a series of conflicting information. Your eyes tell you that the Earth is small. Your mind tells you it's big. Your body is telling you, you are floating. Your memory tells you that you should have weight. These contradictions will be in your brain, forming a giant cognitive black hole. And the general effect is the attractive force of this black hole. What's even more disturbing is, this effect is irreversible. Neuroscientists followed 63 astronauts, discovered that even 10 years after returning to Earth, their brain structure is still different from that of ordinary people. Specifically, they handle it. The boundary of the self and the other. It's permanently weakened. What does that mean? Means they can no longer be like ordinary people. Take for granted that I am me. The world is the world. A retired astronaut said something in an interview. The words silenced everyone for 30 seconds. He said what I miss the most. Not family on Earth. Friends are not food and music. What I miss the most, it's the kind of happiness that doesn't know the truth. I open my eyes every day now. Will remember the Earth hanging in darkness. That vulnerability, that loneliness, that absurdity. This memory is like a thorn, forever stuck in my head. Can't pull it out. But you might ask, since it's so painful, why are these astronauts still rebelling, weirdly to go to space? The answer is even weirder. Because they are addicted. Psychologists call this hyper-experience addiction. When your brain experiences that self-boundary, after the ultimate experience of ablation, all stimuli on Earth will become tasteless. It's like after you've eaten the hottest chili. Ordinary food becomes tasteless. Lhasa has an internal report that has never been made public. An even more extreme case was documented in 1996. There was an astronaut, during a mission on the International Space Station, spend 6 hours a day staring at the Earth for 3 days in a row. His colleagues noticed that something was wrong with him because he doesn't eat. No sleep, no talking, just floating quietly in front of the window, staring at the blue planet without blinking. On the 4th day, when his colleagues forcibly took him away, and he said something that just creeped everybody out. I finally understand. We were never alive. We're just heavy. Replay a video that has already happened. After this person returns to Earth, he was diagnosed with dissociative disorder, received psychotherapy for up to 5 years. But to this day, he still insists, "What did you see in space?" So he says, when you continuously stare at the Earth for more than a certain period of time, you will see something you shouldn't see. Not a hallucination. Is the hidden truth of this planet. He refused to say exactly what he saw. Just keep saying some truth. Humans are not ready to accept. So, What does the overarching effect change about astronauts? Neuroscientists say it's time. We ordinary people have a linear sense of time. Past, present, future one after another. But astronauts who have experienced the overview effect, their sense of time becomes spherical. It sounds fantastic, but there is scientific evidence. When you look at the Earth from space, the light you see, some are reflections from the atmosphere. It took 0.001 seconds. Reaching your eyes as something refracted from the ocean. It took 0.002 seconds. This tiny time difference will be in your retina, create a peculiar effect. You will feel like you are in the same place. See the past and present of the Earth. A physicist has proposed a more radical theory. Overall effect. It could be the human brain. Signs of first exposure to four-dimensional space. He thinks that when you look at the Earth from space, your brain will briefly break through the limitations of three-dimensional space to perceive the true fabric of space and time. This also explains why do many astronauts come back. It creates a sense of seeing through everything. It's not that they got smarter. It's their perception dimension that has temporarily increased. But this theory is too advanced. The mainstream scientific community does not accept. But one thing is certain. The overall effect is being rewritten. Human understanding of consciousness. Because he proved one thing, our self-awareness. We have no doubt who I am. It's really just the brain. In order for us to survive on the surface of the Earth, and made up a story. And when you leave the Earth's surface, the story will start to crumble. What's even more shocking is, recent studies have found that you don't have to go into space. You can also experience part of the CEO effect. 2019, a team of researchers has developed a set of Earth names. The idea is to put subjects in a will environment. View of the Earth from different heights. It turned out that when the viewing altitude exceeds 10,000 kilometers, they start to have a loosening of boundaries. When the altitude exceeds 100,000 kilometers, 30% of people will produce the illusion of being one with the Earth. And when the altitude reaches 380,000 kilometers, almost everyone undergoes some degree of cognitive reorganization. This finding means that overall effects may not be unique to astronauts. It is a kind of hidden in the human brain, deep mechanism. Once activated, it will forever change the way you see the world. And with the popularity of commercial space travel, in the next 20 years, there may be a number. 100,000 people experience this cognitive shock. What will happen to human civilization by then? More people will realize the illusion of national borders, the absurdity of war. There will be more. I had a nervous breakdown because I couldn't handle the truth. Nobody knows the answer. But one thing is certain. When you really see the planet from the outside, you can never go back. It's not that I can't go back to Earth. I can't go back to the self who doesn't know the truth. And this, maybe that's where the overarching effect is really scary. It doesn't destroy you. It's to wake you up, not to drive you crazy. It's to let you see our collective madness.